In this resin ocean inspired tutorial, I'll show you how I made this beautiful little heart with dolphins and shells. Step 1 is to sketch the dolphins directly onto the wooden panel and paint them with black acrylic paint. Pretty straightforward and easy because they only need to be black silhouettes. The acrylic paint is now dry, so I can mix my art resin in equal parts on kitchen scales, and I'll stir it for 5 minutes until all those lines are gone and it's crystal clear. The first of my ocean colour is Blue Ice by Le Rez Expressions, and I'll mix enough so that it's transparent but it's still got a nice vibrancy. And I'm trying out a brand new colour today, Peacock Green, and it is beautiful. It's by Le Rez Expressions as well. Such a beautiful, vibrant green. It's a shame the camera doesn't do it justice. But I'll make sure it's still transparent, but it's still got that vibrant colour. Look at it go on. It's absolutely beautiful. I'll use my blowtorch to pop the bubbles, and I'm going to tilt this little heart because I want the colours to blend seamlessly. If you use a knife or something to blend it, you kind of get the lines through the pearlescent colours. So this was a nice way to have a soft transition of colour. Be sure to get those sides, and I'll pop some more bubbles because they continue to rise. And these shells from Naturally Wild are my new favourite white shells. I use them a lot because they're just so pure. I love them against all those turquoisey colours. I did end up changing my gloves when I applied these shells because I was getting too much of the resin, the blue resin on the shells, and it was discolouring them too much. So be mindful of that. Speaking of discolouring, if you don't want your resin to yellow, I recommend using a high quality resin like art resin because it has extra non-yellowing protection. Just something to be mindful of if you're particularly selling your art. I'm trying out these iridescent glass beads today by Le Rez Expressions. They look so beautiful and pretty. Very watery and mermaidy. I just love them. Unfortunately, some of them will get lost when I pour my Angel White on. This is Angel White by Le Rez Expressions. I get lovely lacing with the art resin. It's important that your white is opaque for the lacing. So I'm going to test it just on the side here to see if it's ready to go. And it looks like it is, so off I go. It's nice and opaque. It's been sitting there in the cup for the whole time that I was placing the shells down, and even an extra of probably 5 minutes. So maybe 10 minutes it was sitting there. And so I had time to thicken up. If you put it on too soon, then it's going to be too transparent and runny. And you also have to make sure you add enough white into the resin mix. I add a little bit more white pigment into my resin mix as opposed to or compared to the coloured pigments. And it helps to have a heat gun with enough air pressure. I've got the air pressure fan speed up high and using that compressor nozzle to get more airflow out of it. I'll activate the lacing with the blowtorch because the heat onto that resin and the white will activate the lacing. Just give it a few minutes and it will start to work. In hindsight, I wish that I had put some more of those iridescent glass beads on when the resin started to cure, like when it was at that sticky stage. That way they would have sat on top and you would have seen them. They wouldn't have been so covered under that white. Anyway, I'll keep that little tip in mind for next time. Speaking of tips, I'll leave a link to my free ebook in the description on my tools and materials that I use for my ocean resin art. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I appreciate your feedback and thank you so much for watching. My name's Tracey and I hope to see you next time.